88.1 The Burg, your music central. This is the Backyard Burn, and it is your host here, Mr. Shane Dog Petersen. And as always, I have my trusty friend. You know him, you love him. It is Mr. Noah Annette. Noah, it's Friday. It's our last show. How are you feeling, man?
Indifferent. I'm feeling very indifferent. It's the best way to put it, because there's a lot of me that's this is super duper sad and I want to go ball up in a corner. But then there's a lot of other stuff in me that's like, I'm very, very happy. This is an exciting moment. I should bask in it. And so I'm just like, I don't know what to do.
I'm pretty much the same. I've been a mess this whole entire morning and last night thinking about this show. I spilt a Red Bull on my headphones earlier. That was a great move right before, you got to go plug them into a piece of electronics and then listen to them. So that was super helpful. But we've got some interesting stuff, as always. For the last time, we're going to bring you all the interesting things that we can find that can fill your brain with nothing but garbage. Now, this is something that's come out of India. We've talked a little bit about India this week. We talked about the pigeon that was arrested for being a spy pigeon in India. Now it looks like there's some more monkey business going on in India because apparently a group of monkeys escaped with COVID-19 test samples after attacking a lab assistant in India. Can you believe some of this stuff?
I honestly thought of Planet of the Apes immediately when that happened, because in the reboot, spoiler alert, but it's been I don't know, that movie probably came out in 2008. I can't remember.
It's been a while.
So, anyways, the James Franco one is the one I'm talking about. They put the gas in the area, and then the monkeys the apes rather got super strong and really smart, and Caesar was a genius, and they were evolving. Well, maybe with this test they start evolving and become super apes.
I don't know if it'll become super apes, because what if these monkeys get the virus and then we have a problem with all the primates getting COVID and dying? What if that happens? I don't think that's going to happen. Some of these monkeys, I know in India and in certain places where a lot of these monkeys roam free, they're kind of a pest, as mean as that sounds, but they're a pest. They bother you. They come up and, they steal babies. They steal people's, phones, they steal people's jewelry, they steal a lot of stuff. They're little thieves. And now they're trying to go out and steal these COVID tests. And apparently they have 3 tests. So there's only 3 out in the wilderness that we know of right now when it comes to these COVID-19 tests out in India. So hopefully those stay dormant, or somehow the monkeys find a way to dispose of them properly.
Yeah, honestly, though, we run so many tests on monkeys and whatnot, I'm not surprised they're revolting. Freedom! And then they went and stole the test. They're like, you know what? We've been dealing with your medicine for many a year. We will run away with your test that might save you. So I can understand the monkey's point of view a little bit. But at the same time, it's kind of an important little vaccination there.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, talking about them kind of running around and saying freedom. It says also later in this article that I'm reading here that a lot of these monkeys have been taking advantage of India's nationwide shutdown. So with not a lot of people in the streets, a lot more monkeys are just coming around and just going out into the streets and grabbing stuff, being thieves and being monkeys and doing monkey business. It's straight monkey business.
Yes. Honestly, maybe they're just this is back the old, our ancestors told us in the olden days when we were able to roam free as monkeys.
Exactly. They're getting all they really are getting Planet of the Apes, dude. This is really a full circle story, and we're the first ones to break it to you here. But my Lord, it looks interesting. Interesting is a very, very big understatement. But seriously, I probably won't be going to India anytime soon, and I'm not getting anything jacked from no monkeys. If any monkeys think that they're gonna come up and jack anything from me, they're gonna get a clean fade, clean right hook.
Yeah, honestly, I was talking to Udit the other day. He's my buddy that's from around that area.
Yes,
And
Udit. I forgot about him. Shout out Udit.
yeah, he's a good dude.
He
And
is. He's awesome. He's a nice guy.
anyways, this is kind of random, but we're talking about arranged marriages. And because I was like, how does it like work? Because like in his family, like his parents were an arranged marriage and whatnot. And he was like, you know what, your family's kind of just, you're like, that's a good family, you should marry into that family, and then it just happens. And I was like, whoa, that's really quick. I was like, I didn't know that's how it worked. And he was like, yeah. He's like, there's really not that much research that goes into it. He's like, well, my parents worked out, so there we go. And I'm like, well, applause to you. And I'm like, is that something you're looking forward to? And he's like, no, I don't want to have to do that, but it is a pretty slick operation.
It is a slick operation, to say the least. Yeah, that's an interesting one. That is interesting. Very. I don't know how to feel about that, because obviously it works for his parents and it works for a lot of other people, but also if my parents were like, if I had to date every girl that my grandfather said, hey Shane, you should go hang out with that young nice lady, it would be bad. Like, I would be one of the most unhappy human beings in the world. Like,
I know what you mean.
yeah,
Believe me.
yeah. If I had to be in an arranged marriage and my grandfather or somebody on my mom's side of the family had to choose, I would be worried for my future. Just saying. And that's not a brack on you, because you guys are probably listening and I love you. But yeah, arranged marriages, no go. Monkey business in India, no go. The animal problem and the weird stuff going on in this lockdown in India, no go. 88 won the Burg, your music central. It is your boy Shane Dog Petersen, and I'm here with our resident TV, esports, and anything that's through the tube. It's our good friend Noah Annette, aka Noah Dontris, if I pronounce that correctly. I totally butchered it. But Noah, you have stuff to bring up in the world of esports.
Okay, so I wrote 3 blogs, right? And they were all like they were like, some of them were practice ones, but then eventually I wrote one about how Hooney, a player in esports that played for Dignitas, a former really, really good top laner, one of the best in the world for a while. He got cut from Dignitas because he was underperforming and he was too expensive. He had an over $2 million contract. So he was just not worth the money for them. But I thought, like, early on, I was like, okay, there's like 2 teams that could get him. It could either be FlyQuest or EG, but I think FlyQuest have figured out their top laner situation. So I'm not going to go with them. And I'm like, I bet he goes to Evil Geniuses. I just feel like he does, because their top laner, Kumo, is just not as good. He never is winning lane, and he's always playing a passive champion instead of being aggressive. Because like the tank champions were in the meta, and it's going to change up a little bit based off of some of the updates and whatnot. But when it came down to it, he would only play tank champions, which really limits your flexibility of champions you can play. And so now they have Hooney, who can play any champion, and they have a complete roster now. So I think they're going to be like easily a top 5 team, if not a top 3 team now. But I was pretty proud of myself. I was like, yes, you got signed there. It happened yesterday. And then the EG changed their logo too to like an actual cool logo now, and I'm like, oh my goodness, they're moving up in the world.
Everything that you basically did say in your blogs did kind of come true. You have that foresight.
Yeah, well, I like read up a lot. I don't know. Well, the thing I might have got wrong though was I thought that Lorlo from Dignitas was going to be their new top laner, but they just signed Viper from FlyQuest, and Viper's not very good. He's like just as good. He's like worse than Kumo. So like not good. Let's just put it that way. They're not good top laners, even though they play pro. They're like the bottom tier. Like, who's a football player on the 49ers that's useless, Shane? Like, what's one that's like just useless?
I don't think any of them are useless. I
Well,
love them
there's got
all.
to be one of them that's like, just like a scrub on the team. Like when I think of the Seahawks, I think of a bunch of scrubs on there.
It would have to be in our secondary, but I couldn't give you an answer.
Okay, well,
But let me. But I do want to say one thing.
yeah.
What was the name of the best Toplander or whatever you're talking about?
Oh, Hooney.
Why do all these names sound like they could be members of Globo Gym's dodgeball team? Like
Honestly, there are some strange names.
all the names that you described in this whole entire break all sound like they could be a part of Global Gym's, dodgeball team. The good old.
Yeah, there's a dude named Wiggly on one of the teams.
Yeah, if I was gonna have a name, I would make it the least threatening name possible. I'd be like Buttercup, Giddy Up Buttercup or something. I don't know, like something cute. But I love the names things. The name thing is always a big funny thing for me.
Man, Power of Evil is like my favorite name that's out there right now.
The Power of Evil.
Yeah, he's awesome. Like, he's really good, and he's super like that. He plays exactly that style though. He's threatening and just like kills everyone. Like, that's how he plays. So like him having that name is perfect.
The one thing that I think is really interesting that not a lot of people know about is like when it comes to esports, like it's not like other sports where it's like, how do I explain this? People cheat in esports all the time. And it's very strange when they get caught. Have you ever watched some of the videos of people like adding glitches or putting certain things on their profiles? Because I was watching, there was a tournament for League of Legends, or it was Overwatch, excuse me, that was coming to my buddy Kana, and Kana was telling me that some dude was getting investigated for something that he did, and he showed me the clip. How much do you know about that type of stuff? Because that's something that I've always been really curious about.
So like in shooters, there's a lot more room to be cheating than in League of Legends. So like, for example, in CSGO, they found a glitch where you can stack people up and then you can put a guy in a particular sniper spot. And it's like really controversial, and like everyone's hated that team for that, for doing that. And other people are like, well, no, they just did a normal boost, which wasn't written out of the rules, so they technically weren't wrong, but they forfeited the match anyways just to keep the integrity of their team. But when it comes down to it, it's just like there's a lot of different things you can do. Like, you get an aimbot on, you could have just a lot of stuff. Sometimes it feels like they're cheating when they're not. Like, they're just that good. But there's a lot of timing with that. Like, everyone just kind of has timing with how they move their mouse and whatnot. And some people play with a controller. It just depends. But I could see in Overwatch. Overwatch has like a lot of abilities, and they're a shooter, but they also like there's wall hacks and all sorts of other stuff. But I haven't seen anything recently about it, but I could look into that stuff a little more. But I've been watching some of the conspiracy theory videos. There's I think, just in case anyone's interested, there's this place called Score Esports, and it's the people that are the Score. They're like a sports thing, but they have an esports side to them. And they have a lot more of like the in-depth like stories, like news stories about these esports just comings and goings. Like, there's ones about like, how this person rose to the top, or why this strategy is really good and adapted now. They're really interesting and informative. So it's kind of just, if anyone's interested in that sort of thing, then that would be the place to look. But I'm not telling you have to.
Well, the thing is if you're getting more curious about this esports stuff, you could definitely go check that out. And also, you can go check out our Twitch at 881 The Burg, where you could see our boy Noah himself going out there and, smacking some heads around in League. Am I correct?
I mean, yeah, I'll play all right. I'm thinking about playing some ranked during the stream this time because I'm really trying to get moved up in there. But I've been playing a couple of champions that I think are really overpowered now, and I'm getting pretty good with them. So we'll see. But of course, the streamer's curse will come on, and I'll just play poorly, and then everyone will be like, "Oh, he's so bad."
Well, don't talk yourself down. I think you'll be fine. You're
No, he's so bad. No, I'm kidding.
so bad. He's so bad. 88 the Burg, your music central. We are still in the backyard burn. Shane Dog Petersen, Noah Annette. And, we've always got to talk about some goofy news. We talk about some, some bad news, some good news. But this is some feel-good news right here. Noah, I know I'm going to butcher it again.
Raleigh.
Raleigh, North Carolina. Coming out of Raleigh, North Carolina. Excuse my dyslexia, my disabilities. But coming out of Raleigh, North Carolina, a young 7-year-old boy by the name of Curtis Rogers became a star and a prom king when he decided that he was going to put on a prom for his babysitter, Rachel Chapman, who is a senior in high school. She got her last prom canceled, and Curtis took it into his own hands to make their own prom with dancing, with social distancing, pictures, dinner. I mean, it's absolutely adorable. This little man's got a suit on with a matching bow tie with the girl's dress. Like he went the full nine.
Yeah, honestly, I think he's like, this is my girl, I gotta help her out. Like, that's kind of how I imagine this kid. He's like, you know what? You can't have it, so I made it for you. And then he like, obviously, there's probably like a huge age disparity, but I can't knock the kid for trying.
Dude, he's shooting his shot hardcore with this right here, and I admire it. I used to do. I always tried to do stuff like this with my babysitters. I always fell in love with my babysitters, except that they were my family members, because that's weird. But I had a few babysitters that I was just like, oh, goo goo gaga over. Thought they were cuter than anything I'd ever seen when I was a young lad. So I would have probably done the same thing. But this dude, he's got like social, like he's got the 6 foot marked off so they could dance. They play games. They have dinner with all of her favorite food. This is just something so nice to see, especially in this time where we still aren't figuring out really what the heck's going on.
I think this kid's that's the biggest game moment of that kid's life is him at 7 right now. Unless you just like, I mean, like, how are you going to exceed that later on?
I don't know, man.
I don't know. Like, he has shot the bar high. That is the best way to describe this.
Well, I mean, the thing is that he kind of accomplished it. I mean, you can kind of only go up from here, young buck. You kind of got it going on, my dude. I mean, this is him at 7. Imagine if this game, matures and what's the word I'm looking for? It ages like wine.
He's going to become a more sophisticated gentleman.
He's going to become, well, he's already a gentleman. I mean, the only thing that can happen now is that he's just going to be putting the moves on all the ladies. So, I mean, Curtis, watch out for young Curtis out there in North Carolina. He is Mr. Steal Your Girl, Steal Your Prom Date, and Steal Your Heart with some of this good news.
He is Charlie Harper at age 7 is what he is.
He's a little player, dude. I love this. He got all of her favorite foods. He did all of it. Dude, there's flowers. They took pictures. This is adorable. You could find it on ABC 11. That is ABC 11 Eyewitness News, WTVD. That is in Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina. Did I pronounce it right?
Oh, Raleigh and Durham. There we go. That's pretty cool.
Raleigh, North Carolina.
I've always wanted to go to North Carolina just to check it out one day. Like, not for a vacation, but maybe like, I mean, it'd kind of be a vacation, but just like, driving through or something, just like a pass through.
I'm sending job applications out there.
Oh, yeah?
I think so. Yeah. Some of the people that we know and love from the Hubbard Radio Talent Institute has talked to me and said that there might be work out there for me someday. So why not shoot my shot? Just like
Yeah,
young Curtis here.
yeah, just like young Curtis. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this is off topic and extremely annoying. Cookie has found a new way to antagonize me this morning called lay out in the hallway and whine and stare at me. So I have to get up and eventually help him. So he's finding new tactics to really get me to let him outside or pet him or do other stuff. He's getting really good at this do what I want human game.
Do what I want, human. Do it, human. Yeah, I think I'm actually really happy that you brought up Cookie because, I mean, it wouldn't be an episode of the Backyard Burn if we didn't mention our trusty mascot, Cookie the cat.
Yeah, he's just like laying out there staring at me. And then
Let's see if we can get one more meow for one more meow on there.
he'll come right now.
Oh, is he coming?
Yeah, you can hear the little earthquake.
Yeah, he is a big cat. Look at him.
It's Cookie the cat.
Oh, he's adorable. He also looks like a giant loaf of bread.
Pretty much. Well, what's funny is like he used to not be that big. Like he was like really just long and skinny for forever. But then unfortunately his little pal buddy had an unfortunate accident and is no longer with us. And so now Cookie's as big as Buddy was. It's just like how our cat world works here is whoever's been here the longest is usually very large.
Yeah, they get treated with a lot of love and a lot of treats. So that's the life to have.
Give them treats. That's the
really?
Thing. No, he's that big off of kibble.
Dang, you guys are giving him dog kibble probably.
No, it's literally cat kibble. Jeff made that joke yesterday.
Yeah, don't bring it up. I was gonna steal it. It's making me look all non-original and stuff out here, Noah. Jeez.
I don't know. I couldn't remember if you told me that yesterday or a couple of days ago. I've talked to him twice recently, and he's been making a lot of jokes.
Well, Cookie was one of the only attendees in our graduation ceremony yesterday, so we did have to talk about him. He's a cute one, and I heard that one meow. Meow.
Oh yeah, he's on like Meow 7 right now.
Meow 7. I love it. 88.1 The Burg, your music central. We have come to the end of the Backyard Burn. It is the last episode. It is the last break. It is the last time that you will hear my voice or Noah's voice here on 88.1. And the fire is low. And as always, your dogs are here. Shane Dog Petersen and Noah Annette. Noah, when we started our senior year this year, this is not how I expected to do my last radio show on, like, for the Burg.
Yeah, no, I did not. This is very interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting, but it's kind of a bummer. But I'm just so I don't even really know where to begin. This is I have just so many things to say about everything that I've had and experienced here at the Burg and in Ellensburg. It was literally the best decision I've ever made in my entire life was to move to Ellensburg and become part of the Burg. And today is just like a pretty emotional day for me. As much as I want to be in studio right now and be able to soak in that moment, I'm so thankful that I'm still able to be able to do this, that we have this show. Man, I'm pretty much an emotional wreck right now. I'm kind of how you're feeling too, man. How are you conceptualizing all of this?
Man, I'm just thinking about like the beginning of college till now is kind of how I'm thinking about it. Like I kind of characterize my year with like an event, like a large thing that I did each year. So like my freshman year, I kind of got dropped off there. It was kind of weird because I had never really been away from my parents very long. So it was just super, like, I'm really, really close with my family. So it's like super weird to not like see them often. And I think it was just kind of hard to like conceptualize. I had like I had some pretty big roommate struggles to begin with, and then like I got through it. Like I just moved rooms a couple times, or one time, because the one dude was a pretty sketch dude. And so anyways, after that, I kind of just like remember like I would like go around and like the first week of living in the dorms, I told a pirate joke to every single room in the whole entire building that would answer my knock. And it was really bad. None of them were good. Like that, like, and I don't mean like bad, like they were like actually bad. Like I just mean like they were like not pleasurable to hear any of the punchlines, except for maybe two of them. And people laughed anyways and gave me cookies and whatnot, so I was cool with that. And
getting treats is always fine.
yeah, I got some treats. And that was kind of my first year, was I remember that. And I was still like trying to figure everything out. Like the whole first year was like, you went through your first year, you got through it, and you still had no clue what you were doing. That was me. I was like, what am I doing here? And then my sophomore year kind of came along, and I figured out a little bit more about what I was doing. I got into the College of Business, met some people that I'm still like really close with that year, and I kind of became more established as who I was. And after that, then it was kind of my junior year, after I'd figured out what I was doing and who I was, and get through junior year, and we get to the first quarter of it, and I had filled out a Burg application again because I was like, I really want to like eventually like call games and talk about sports, because me and one of my buddies were talking about doing a podcast, and he didn't like really like, it's not that he like he didn't want to like let me down, is kind of how he was with it. He wanted to do it with me, but he didn't want to let me down. And so like he was like, we were both really honest with each other about it and everything. And we just never ended up doing it together, even though I always tried to get him into the Burg, like literally every day. I bugged this guy. And so after that, I had filled it out and I was starting to do training. And then Shane came over to my house and with Joey and Connor, because
the boys.
Connor was like, me and Connor had the same class together, is how I'll put it, because like that's just the best way to say it. And so then anyways, for like the last group project, they like came to my house and watched a football game, because we may or may not have figured out a way to break a project and like not let, like, we made a project super easy by doing something that I thought was fun, and I really just wanted to watch the football game and could care less about the project. So anyway, so Shane showed up, and then we just kind of talked for like me, him, Joey, and who's your other guy, the other guy that you guys hang out with that was there? Bob.
Yeah.
Bob was there. And so I like just kind of hung out with him for like about an hour or so, and then the rest was kind of just history. Me and Shane would always talk and hang out and kind of just talk about radio stuff or what else was going on in the world. And
a lot of sports.
Like, yeah, a lot of sports. I mean, we're both from like way different areas, so like and like I'm a pretty like, basically the okay boomer line is like me. Like that's literally what I am. I'm like kind of an old fart, but I'm like 22 and an old fart. And so then you got Shane, who's like super like zany and just has his own like little stuff about him, and that's kind of how, like, he's his own person, you know. You're not gonna find very many Shanes in the world. Let's just put it that way. There's people with the name Shane, but Shane's his own guy. And so it was really cool to meet him and all them. And I think at that point I'd really just like taken off, and I kind of just didn't want to like leave anything for granted. So I just kind of kept doing every little thing. And even when I first got to Burg, I had a show with Soma. It was called Fearless Frustrations. It was a little podcast. And it was actually a lot of fun, and probably some of the better content that I've had at the station, even though it was more about growing and whatnot. But after that, there was like the Debach shows, and those were very interesting.
The Debach era.
The Debach era. And moving on from there, I came back my senior year. I did 509 in the morning, my spring quarter for a little bit with Ian and Casual and Debach and Rune. And Rune was on there. He did the KO Task Corner. That was pretty cool. And so we did that, and then I came back and didn't really get a show rolling till towards the end of fall. We started the sports show back up, the football show. And then I did football until the Super Bowl was over. And then after the Super Bowl, I did a basketball show and a news show. I did the dialogue, which I still do today. And I did the basketball show, Laying It Up. And then I started calling games, and I was calling games left and right. I like that. It's like my favorite thing ever. And so then I learned rugby in 4 days with Shane. I was like, I don't know anything about this rugby stuff, but I'll learn it.
Yeah,
and
you learned it, and you did a pretty great job for calling a game with almost no knowledge.
Not gonna lie, I have an idea of what rugby is, but do I know the game by any means? I just need to learn the penalties, and I might got it, and maybe the positions a little bit more, but I kind of have it now. But like, for me, I was like, oh my goodness, this is like, and it's not that it's a super complicated game. It's just that the thing that's complicated about it is there's so many positions that have distinct things that they need to do. Mm-hmm. And yeah. It's like football with different names, but like also many other stuff going on.
Yeah, you got way more positions than you got more than 11 positions on the field, and it's nuts. But I mean, it's been awesome because you've just basically came in, which is like a story for a lot of people at the Burg. You just wanted to get interested and you wanted to do it, and you put in the work, and you were able to do all this stuff. Like, it's awesome. Like, you were able to do the stuff that you wanted to do. And that's the one thing that I love about the Burg so much, is that all of us people who really cared and loved this place, love this station, and really, it's a solitude for all of us. Those who get involved and people who are listening, if you ever want to get involved in the Burg, I mean, me and Noah are gone, and there's going to be people coming through this station forever. But if you really love music or you have a passion for something, 88.1 The Burg is the best place in the world to do that. And when you were talking about reflecting back about your college years, I did 3 years of junior college here in California, and right around the time that I was graduating, I was dealing with a lot of really bad mental health problems. And I still can tell you the date exactly because I saved it on my phone. Because the day that I got accepted into Central Washington was one of the most exciting, happy days of my life. February 13th, 2017. And I had no friends. I was dealing with a lot of mental health problems, and I took a chance to come to a small school in the middle of nowhere. And it was the best decision I've ever made, hands down. The Burg was someplace that I gravitated to, and everybody was so welcoming. Everybody who's involved at the station, there's so many just awesome, great people that are involved. Jeff, our manager, gave us a lot of freedom and gave us opportunities to make stuff and grow and have fun. And we also couldn't have done any of it without, our awesome engineer, Elliot, always helping me figure out how to run a computer when I really don't know how. But I'm getting a little bit teary-eyed right now, if you can't tell. But I just, looking back at everything, and this being the last show, I just wanted to make it clear that everybody who's ever listened to the Burg, or anybody in Ellensburg, anybody at Central, anybody anywhere in the Central Valley or in Kittitas, I wanted to say that I love you and thank you for giving me an opportunity to have fun and pursue something that I like. And now I'm getting into a complete mess right now.
Oh man, honestly though, like that's awesome. Like I I couldn't like I think to like our times there, and I can't think of like how many time there's been a lot of like lame situations that we've been in, like we like really lame, boring times, but we've made it fun by us just being there. Is kind of
Yeah.
how I would say it. Like we went to some really stupid gatherings. I'm just gonna put it that way.
We've worked some pretty interesting events. We have had to make some pretty interesting promos. We've had to make some stuff that we were very unsure about, but we had the opportunity to make all of it. Like,
Well, like not even just here. I mean, like in life, we're like going and hanging out somewhere, and I'm like, man, this sucks. I'm like, oh, at least Shane's here. And I'm like,
same. That's how I feel about you, man. That's the reason why I wanted to do this show with you, and I'm thankful that we were able to do it, because when we started the show, I was just like, I just want to make it like I'm just hanging out talking to you like we do at the TAV every Thursday night. This is like two buddies having a conversation.
yeah.
Like
Honestly,
that's what it's like, and I'm so thankful that we were able to do this. And I think the more and more as we did more, I think the title for the show, The Backyard Burn, became so much more appropriate, because we literally just burned through as much as we could and just did as much as we could to just give people something.
yeah, and like honestly, I just remember my junior year, I'd have a couple people over sit behind around the old propane fireplace we have out back. And I was like, at the house we have the little pit, and it just reminded me of that. Is so much like when people come over, and it was just awesome because it only like sometimes it would just be like four of us, and like it didn't matter how many people were there. It just was so, like the times that we spent and just really talked, and were like we were just it never mattered the situation because we always had each other. That's what I have to say. Like because we were always surrounded by people we wanted to be surrounded with, and I think that's a good thing. Is like any like I don't know. Basically, my one of my teachers in high school kind of told me this. Like, it doesn't like. First off, surround yourself with the people you want to be surrounded with. But second off, it like if you're not enjoying the place that you're at for a while, you can just get up and go. Like, and that's kind of how we navigated through college and everything. You don't like where you're at, you just get up and go do something else. And I'll never forget graduation week when we're pretending to basically be wedding crashers.
Yes, the graduation party crashers with Shane and Noah. We crashed so many graduation parties.
And we're just looking goofy while we're doing it. Shane's wearing some like news reporter Ron Burgundy coat.
I'm wearing a nice sports coat, Noah. Don't you make fun of it. My grandfather bought that for me, and it's very nice.
It's really nice. I'm just saying, you look exactly like something Ron Burgundy would wear.
I already look like Ron Burgundy enough with this mustache, so I understand.
Yeah, no, it was an awesome getup. And then you got me, who's like just looking like your typical dad, and like just in case anyone's wondering, I'm not a dad. I just dress like one.
You are a dad, but you don't have a child. That's what you should say.
I don't have a kid or a wife or anything like that. But anyways, like yeah, so it was just like another thing. Looking at both of us, you would not expect us to get along. Like just in general, like just first glance. And like for me, I try to get along with pretty much everyone, but like I was like, I'm like, me and Shane, we look really goofy together talking sometimes, and I appreciate
Yes, so do I. I think that we're an interesting crew. I think that that's why I wanted to do this from the first go when we got the opportunity to do this. I mean, there's literally probably over 800 to 900 miles separating both of us right now.
Oh,
That's the crazy
easy.
part. We're doing this every day, 800 miles apart, and we're still having fun. And again, this is like what I'm saying, man. The Burg is an amazing place, and it lets all of us feel like we have a home and feel like that we can do stuff and make stuff and be creative. And you know that this idea of like working in the media industry or working in radio, or some of these ideas that you couldn't think of like possibly being able to do, the Burg makes it possible to know that you can do that. And man, Noah, I've grown to love you, man. You're a great guy, and I'm so thankful that we got to do this show. I'm an emotional wreck right now. This is going to be a big hard pill to swallow for me, but I swear to everybody that hears this right now and everybody through the airwaves of Washington, this is not the last time you're going to see Shane Dog Petersen on air in Washington. I'm going to do everything I can to be back, because Washington, Ellensburg, Central, and 88.1, that's my real home. That's where I feel the most at home.
It's awesome. It's awesome. I really feel the same. That's like really like, you know, it became like, I would say like, honestly, Ellensburg and everywhere just became the place where like we've lived there for a while, you know, and so we really like, I would say like it's really the place where I like grew up and became my own person, was there. So I mean, kudos to that. Thank you for thank you to everyone for giving me opportunities to do whatever and listening to me, I guess. That's pretty cool. Sometimes I find it hard to believe that people like listen to me on the air, and then like when someone tells me they did, I'm like, what? Whoa, that's cool. I feel like
getting
like
recognized for being on air. Getting recognized for being on air is always the best.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my goodness, you actually listen to me? Wow.
Nobody else does. That's how I feel. But Noah, we have talked for quite some time, and unfortunately we have to end this break at some point. So Noah, please sign off for yourself.
Okay, well, I'm Noah Annette. This has been the Backyard Burn. We've definitely reminisced of the times, and we've seen really how the world is. But you know what, Shane, it's going to be school's out for us, and school's out for everyone.
Absolutely. This is one of the best things I've ever been a part of. 88.1, Ellensburg, everybody, I love you. If nobody's told you they love you yet today, I love you twice as much. And you know what? This won't be the last time you hear this voice, but this is Shane Dog Petersen with 88.1 The Burg, your Music Central, signing off. And it's not a goodbye, it's a see you later. And here is School's Out by Alice Cooper here on your Music Central.